Hello students, we have studied image formation by lens in our previous videos and we found that as the distance of the object from the lens changes, so does the distance of image. As the object comes closer to the lens, the position of the image shifts away from the lens and also its size increases. That is, its magnification increases. Thus, there is a definite relationship between object distance, image distance, and magnification that happens during the refraction through lenses. Today, we will learn about one such formula showing the relationship between object distance u, image distance v, and focal length f of the lens is called the lens formula. It is represented as 1 upon v minus 1 upon u equals 1 upon f, where u is the distance of the object from the lens, v is the distance of the image from the lens, and f is its focal length. This lens formula is universally true for any spherical lens and objects placed at any position. However, we are unable to use it directly. There are several sign conventions for lenses that need to be followed while using this formula. And for that, let me tell you that these sign conventions are same as those for mirrors. And this you have already studied, right? So this should make our task a little easy. So let's study them, but very quickly and briefly we'll go through them. The object is always placed to the left of the mirror. The first convention is that object is always placed to the left of the mirror. Yes, recall that in mirror we were showing the light coming from the object on the left side of the mirror. Similarly, for the lens, objects and incident rays are also shown on the left side. Recall how we measured all the distances from the mirror. Yes, all distances were measured parallel to the main axis of the mirror. And same is true for lens as well. Here also, we measure all distances parallel to this principal axis. The distance to the right of the pole is positive and distance to the left of the pole is negative. But wait, remember that for lens, we take into account its optical center and not its pole. So the distances from its optical center towards right are positive and towards left are negative. Well, observe one more thing here. The y-axis of the Cartesian system passes through the optical center of the lens. Yes, it is coincident to optical axis of the lens like this. And just like the mirror, all the distances from O towards the right are positive and all the distances from O on the left side are negative. Okay, now all the vertical distances or specifically heights measured upwards from the principal axis, that is on positive y-axis, will be obviously positive, and conversely all of them measured on negative y-axis, that is below the principal axis, will be negative. But what about focal length? Is it to be measured same as that of the mirror? Let's find out. As we know, the distance between the optical center and the focal point of the lens is called the focal length of it and is denoted by small f. In a case of lens, we know that there are two focal points, one on the right side and the other on the left side. So how do we decide whether it is a positive or negative? Well, that's why in the case of lenses, we have an additional rule which says that focal length of a convex lens is positive and that of a concave lens is negative. This is obvious, isn't it? Yes, you can see in the case of convex lens, as it is converging, all the rays refracted, bend or meet at a point on this side. And this length and this is the focal point. And now if we calculate the distance from O, we can see that it falls on the positive x-axis, that is towards the right side of the lens, and hence it is positive. Now, while for concave lenses, we know that it is a diverging lens, so none of the rays will meet on the opposite side, just like convex lens. So what do we do is extend the rays back and get the focal point of this lens. So we see that it appears to be on the left hand side of the lens, and thus the distance between O and this left hand side focus point F will be negative. So to sum it up, we can say that while using or while calculating object distance U, image distance V or focal length F for the lens formula, always consider the focal length of convex lens positive and that of concave lens negative. Object distance for any lens is always negative as objects are conventionally placed on the left side of the mirror. And image distance depends upon where it is formed, whether in front of the mirror or on this side of the mirror. So what we have seen in this video is one formula called lens formula, which is a relation between distances and focal length. So what we have seen in sign convention for measuring the distance in lenses is all the distance measured towards the right of the optical axis of lens, which is also the y-axis, are positive, while all the distances towards the left of the optical axis are negative. All the distances measured above the principal axis, which is also the x-axis, are positive, while all the distances measured below the principal axis are negative. And yes, this sign convention is followed while assigning respective signs to image distance, object distance, and focal length while using the lens formula and finding magnification of the lenses. But what if I want to compare the sizes of the objects and images? Is there any relationship that shows this comparison? Well, we will see you in the next video.